syndrome that has 3 components, and it's uncontrolled seizures, med-resistant seizures, and the third thing, which is usually the hardest to get, is it's a particular type of EEG. It's a slow spike wave on the EEG that's specific to LGS. Jack had 2 of the 3 criteria for a long time. And then we had the 24-hour EEG done in New Orleans, and it was then confirmed that he did, in fact, have LGS, because he did show that slow spike wave that you need for that diagnosis. I mean, he had a concrete diagnosis after that instead of just kind of intractable epilepsy. It's still part of it, along with global developmental delay, but he had that diagnosis as well. With LGS. That just means that his seizures don't really get better. They change. They change every few months. The types of them, the severity, the frequency, and we've seen that all along. So we just kind of went with it. Okay, well, what does this mean? And our neurologist, who is very good, said, well, make sure you take care of yourselves as a family, as parents, because you're in it for the long haul. That's basically what he said, and it's true. Now, that's easier said than done for many, many reasons. Anyway, about that time, he actually suggested, asked us about Make-A-Wish, if we had thought about that as something we could do as a family, because we needed something as a family. We needed something to look forward to, and we'd never taken a family vacation before or anything. So we applied for Make-A-Wish. We found out that we were approved for one, and so we decided, because Jack loved Mickey Mouse so much, and especially Mickey Mouse music, and he loves the colors red and yellow. How about Disney World? It's somewhere that our daughter could enjoy, and that Jack could enjoy, and then
we could enjoy. It's fairly close.
We're Disney people, so we were okay with that. So we got to set the dates, and we went on our Make-A-Wish trip. Jack's Make-A-Wish trip in January of 2019, and it was wonderful. It was awesome. It was what we needed.
We got to stay at a place called Give Kids the World, which is in Kissimmee, which isn't far from Disney World at all. And the whole village is set up and works in conjunction with Make-A-Wish for children to go and just have a I don't even know how to describe it, really, a free stay.
It's and it's just to be a family.
Yeah, and everything it's accessible and to anyone with any type of equipment, and just we could do a whole video just on that.
Yeah, which we will.
Oh, we will. Yeah. And we really want to go back.
Yeah,
badly. So yeah, the trip was amazing. We think about it, talk about it all the time. So
yeah, there's not a day that goes by that we don't think about it or talk about it, because it had that much of an impact on us, and that goes for anyone who's ever been there, or knows anything about it. It's something
phenomenal. So he was still eating food, and he would start to have seizures about the time he was eating, or even while he was eating, and it would put him to sleep right away. Well, okay. Well, so he's also getting meds by mouth too. So what do? You can't feed a sleeping child, so we put him in bed. Well, he's missed a meal. Well, this turns into missing many meals. It led to him missing meds, because we'd have to take it in a syringe, open his mouth, and shoot it in there.
Yeah, and you have to swallow it. We were worried about aspiration and choking and all these things. And he had always been a healthy weight. He is always between the 75th and 90th percentile for weight and height. Always grew very well. Nothing to worry about there. But this happens, and it continues with seizures getting worse and worse for 3 or 4 months. And then all of a sudden, he's lost almost 20 pounds.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it. If he can't eat, you cannot shovel the food into him. He can't eat. So, so yeah, he starts losing a tremendous amount of weight.
And he was sleeping all the time because he was having so many seizures, but then he was so tired because he wasn't eating, and he was starting to get, I think, dehydrated somewhat too. Not horribly to where he had to be hospitalized, but it was awful to watch, and we felt helpless all over again, like from when he first got sick. It was like a nightmare.
Things are fine for a while, and then something new comes along. And so we talked to the neurologist, we talked to the pediatrician. They all agreed that he needed a feeding tube. Yeah,
he had to. I mean, it was a last resort, but there was no other way. There was absolutely no other way if we wanted to save him, basically. So he had just turned 5, and the first week of September he had his the surgery done to have his tube put in, and it has been a literal lifesaver. Yeah. It saved his life. Yeah. He was 28 pounds when he went in for his surgery at 5 years old. He is now 63 pounds. So the feeding tube works.
It works very well.
It works. I mean, it started putting weight on him within a month or a month and a half. And overall, like anybody who's malnourished, once you start getting everything you need, your hair looks better, your skin looks better, you have strength again, and you feel better, and that's how it's been. He just looked better overall, and still looks better overall than he did. Because in that time that he lost all that weight, all of his therapies had to stop because he was too weak to do anything.
Or if he was even awake. I mean, if you could even get him, you could pick him up and put him in the car and take him to therapy. When you got there, it was pointless. He couldn't do anything. No. What does the future hold? We don't know. We're hoping at some point, much later this year, or most likely next year, we can get back to Disney, and get back to Give Kids the World and visit and do that again. And in the meantime, he continues to get bigger. It's becoming an issue. We're gonna have to move out of the house we're in now because it doesn't make sense for him anymore.
His bathing chair in a standard size tub, he's so big for it, he can barely fit in it anymore, and it's very low to the ground, obviously, like a regular tub is. Right. And we have to take care of ourselves to take care of him, and there are no ramps on the house. There's all sorts of things that come with your child growing that we have to see about.
Yeah. And he's, even for 6, even with his condition, he is a big boy.
He is.
He's big. He's heavy.
And I just wanted to add that for anything that Jack has, any kind of sickness aside from his seizures, like the flu or upper respiratory issues or anything like that, we always have to go to the ER, because our children never ever get sick during the week during pediatrician hours. We always it's always a Friday night or Saturday or Sunday. And for Jack, urgent care doesn't work. We've tried that before. We go to urgent care and they see what kind of syndrome he is and his medications he's on, and they just say, no, please go to the ER.
You need to go to the ER. I've heard that so many times.
Yeah, so we don't bother with urgent care anymore. We go straight to the ER, which he's seen right away because of all the different risks with him.
So with that being said, if you didn't know, now you know.